enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me. And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is the Austinator, and welcome back to Austinator and Angry CareBears Talk Movies. This is episode 10, and you know what? We are done with the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. We just concluded that, I think, about a couple weeks ago, And now we are diving into not horror movies, but The Matrix.
Sci-fi.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, we even have a new background and everything. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, we're rebranding. Not really. It's just, for each movie, I have to get a new background, I guess. I mean, I guess that's how the way things go, I suppose, even though you understand what I mean. It's like, I didn't really want to do it, but I had to. It's just a day in the life. But, of course, I have my co-host, Angry CareBears, with me.
Hello.
And we do have another person joining us whenever he wants to, or...
Amy's, he's the one who wanted to do these movies. He should have been here already.
I mean, I'm not going to name drop him, because I feel like that's a little distasteful to do so. But, listen, my channel, we have taste and standards. Like, come on. I have taste. You have taste. I have standards. I have high standards.
Oh, I got taste.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah, I do.
And what is your taste?
A lot. Mainly horror. A lot of horror.
Good to know. I am very sour.
Really?
Oh, wait. No, that's sauerkraut. I am spicy.
Spicy. I'm scary.
Spicy and scary. That's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, I get they're technically the same thing because there's fear involved with both of those things. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, we literally just started and we're talking about spicy and fucking...
Yeah.
Well, what does this have to do with The Matrix? I don't know.
But
are we a part of The Matrix? Are you a part of The Matrix? I don't know anymore. I feel like
maybe there's a lot of weird happenings. If we're in a Matrix, man, whoever's hacking, please stop. We're tired of all these cool events you want to do. I see that you're bored and you're doing a lot of different events. You're tired of the pandemic. Now you want to go for a nuclear war. That's fine, but can you stop messing with this specific simulation?
Here,
man.
Jaxel comes in. Neo's not here, man. He fell down the rabbit hole, and now he's super high.
Anything to forget the fourth film.
Yeah, I would like to forget it, even though I haven't seen it yet, though. This movie was before Google was a thing.
Sure. Same year. Pretty sure it's the same year.
The CareBears Were Warriors? Okay. That makes a lot of sense, man. All right. Today we're talking The Matrix. This movie came out. I believe it came out. It technically came out March 31st, 1999. Before the whole Y2K thing happened, before, the year 2000, the start of the millennium. This movie actually came out earlier. It actually came out March 24th, 1999 at the Man Village Theater. Where the fuck is... Wait, what's... Oh, okay. It's in California. Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I was going to say, California.
I mean, all theaters are in California, right? Is that how it works? Yeah, see, I know my stuff. And then it came out actually a few days later in Australia. Came out April 8th. And this movie stars Keanu Reeves. We all know that guy, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who is this guy? Who is this guy, Keanu Reeves? Oh,
he likes to do air guitar and learn about history, man.
True. And who is this guy, Lawrence Fishburne? He must be an unknown, man. It's the first time I heard of him. Oh, and Hugo Weaving and Carrie Ann Moss. Unknowns, guys. Come on.
Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu Reeves, they don't age.
No,
I think the best part about the new movie is those two and their chemistry. And the fact that you go, wow, you forget that the movie's over 20 years old because they just don't age.
Very, very true. I mean, Keanu Reeves is a good-looking man. I mean...
And Carrie's a good-looking woman, too.
Very true. I'm not dumb. I'm dumb, but I'm not blind. I know a good-looking man when I see one.
Huh?
And that man's Keanu Reeves.
All right.
But I will admit, though, too, Carrie Ann Moss, she is a pretty actress. I will agree with that. Oh, she actually played in the show Jessica Jones. I never knew about that. I love how we're not even talking Matrix. We're just talking about the actors and actresses. Nope. They are just good at looking young when they want to. Now, do you want to take a guess on how much this movie made? This movie's budget was $63 million.
I want to say it made $150 million.
It made more than that.
Jesus. 200 mil.
More than that.
300 mil.
More than that.
Oh my god. All right, just tell me.
It made $466.6 million.
Damn.
Now you want to know why they made 3 other sequels? Because it made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, we're not here to talk about how much money it made and how much, how good looking the actors and actresses are. No, we're here to talk about movies themselves, meaning we're here to review them. Because that's what this show is supposed to be. And you know what? Let's just give our overall thoughts, because I think we got some things we want to say about this film, and I'm gonna let you go first.
So this movie, The Matrix, it's an iconic joyride of a film, and I absolutely love it. It is one of those movies that is a staple in our culture. There's references about it everywhere. There's sayings that come from it, the red pill or blue pill thing. It just is a movie that makes you think. It's like, yeah, you can watch it for the fun action. It has great action, great scenes, great acting. But it also makes you think, and even, created that conspiracy theory of, what if none of this is real and we are, in fact, in a Matrix? It's just got all of the qualities I like. Fun, entertaining, good action. And it makes you think. It's got a very, clever story, clever, world building. Literally, actually.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you. I think this movie, it's iconic, very classic. I mean, I think for the time, because this is 1999 we're talking about, this movie was groundbreaking. In the sense of visuals, and even the story it told. It's very groundbreaking and just not revolutionary, I guess you could also put it as. I just think the characters, the story, and just the overall plot that they're trying to build is, and like you said, is this real, or are we in a simulation where alien overlords overrun us? That was actually it's a movie that kind of opens your eyes a little bit as to, like,
it opens your mind.
Because in my philosophy class, one of my most recent classes that I was in, it's like it's kind of brings up the same thing. It's like it's like just because you think it's real, it doesn't necessarily mean it's real. Like, let's say my table that I'm sitting at right now.
What is real?
Exactly.
What you see, and what you feel, or what you know, stuff like that. Do you know it to be true, or do you believe it to be true?
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong, this movie is not perfect, even though I will say this movie does deserve its place in history. It's not, how do I put this? It is easily a great movie, but I will say there are a couple of issues here and there where it didn't necessarily, it's not like all peaches and roses, if that makes sense. Is that the phrase?
Some things just didn't age well.
Yes. But before we even get into that, because I think after negatives we'll talk about what this movie in terms of a philosophical and just how much this impacted real in terms of life, if that makes any sense. But we'll start with our positives. You may go first.
All right. So this movie, right off the bat, it's iconic. There's no way you haven't heard of The Matrix. It broke so many walls when it came to movie making, whether it's the practical effects, the special effects, the way of storytelling, the thoughts that it provokes, and just so much of what they do, the design of it, you know what I mean? Like, when you see a leather trench coat and glasses, you think, oh, that's the Matrix. That's a Matrix coat. It is it's like the 90s Star Wars, basically. It just made this new sci-fi world that it's so fresh and new. Because no one's ever heard of anything like that before. It had such a clever idea. I absolutely love the beginning, how you follow Mr. Anderson around in his everyday life to show how boring and mundane it is. And then all of a sudden he just sees these little clues that get you going, huh, it's just kind of like I saw earlier. And I do that a lot too. So when I saw that in the movie, it really jumps you into the movie oh man, what if I'm in the Matrix? It gets you feeling with the character right off the bat. And when you find out that he is the one, that he goes from this boring, mundane guy to the chosen one, this action hero who can stop bullets with his mind and reverse his own death just because he wants to. It's just so fun and satisfying to watch because you watch him grow. And it's so jarring to see him go from our world to this awful post-apocalyptic alien world out of the simulation pods. It's so, I don't know how to explain the feeling you get. It's just like all hope has been lost because the only good life isn't even real. I mean, the music's just so fun. You can definitely say it's dated, very 90s, but that's what I love about it, It belongs in the film. And it's just fun music that fits the scenes. It gets you going in the action scenes. The action scenes are fun. I mean, it's another one of those things where you see action like that, you're going to say, that's the Matrix action. Slow motion, crazy karate kicks. It's it belongs in the movie. Another thing you can argue is very dated with the 90s, but it's just so perfect for the film. It's just so iconic to the film. And it's just, like I said, you see action like that, you're going to tie it to the Matrix. It kind of created, or at least popularized, that exaggerated karate and overusage of the slow motion. But honestly, my favorite part is definitely the whole, I love the bits with Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves where they're just talking and he keeps asking him questions that make it think, what is real? Is this real? And even if it is real, what does that mean? I grew up here, at least I had memories here. Was I here my whole life? Like, is what I'm touching real? It feels real, but is it? It's just all those questions that make you think. I love movies that make you think. Because when I was done watching it, it had me thinking. And I love movies that stick with you. And this one will certainly stick with you. I mean, it has for audiences for over 20 years now, and there is a reason on why it does. It's not some stupid action sci-fi flick. It is in some cases, and that's what makes it entertaining and even iconic in some areas. But it really has a clever way of pulling you in to go, maybe they're onto something. Even if they're not right, they have some brilliant questions they bring up.
Absolutely. My positives. Well, I mean, I'll go more like kind of not as descriptive at the beginning because I just want to get the basic stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
The acting in this film really good. I think Keanu Reeves pulls off the role really well. I think he pulls the look off nicely as Neo. I think he comes off as very believable. Like you said, his character starts up as just a mundane, like he's a computer hacker, kind of like by night, but during the day he's kind of like this. He's just like this typical guy that sits behind a desk, with a software company. I thought his character development in this film is really well done, especially as somebody who, he kind of gets like thrown into this freaking situation of, hey, you're the chosen one. It's like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'd kind of be like, no, I think and then especially the stuff with Agent Smith, and they put like the worm in him, and that looked fucking gruesome.
It was gross. It was so gross.
It was very gross. And then you see him kind of develop into his own character, and then when he finds out about the fact that his world is an entire simulation.
Nothing, it's so, I can't even imagine, just living life.
It's overwhelming.
And people just telling you none of this is real. This is real life. It's just it's so breaking to the human mind when you tell someone that everything you experienced never happened because it's not real. But is it real? That also gets you thinking because it's still these people's consciousness. It's still real people, just not in a real world. So are your experiences still real if you're still interacting with another person? Or is it not because you're not actually interacting with them?
Absolutely. And it just, and then you can see how overwhelmed he is, and like they have to like put him, basically they have to fix him up a little bit because like he just came out of the pod, and
yeah, he's
like,
it's like a baby being born. That's what he looked like.
He's a grown man.
Yeah.
But he's like completely, and then when he wakes up, he then has, well, actually going backwards a little bit. I like the concept of the red pill, blue pill.
Yeah.
Especially because I like if you take this one pill, then you go back to the simulation, you go back and you can believe whatever you want to believe.
I like that they give him a choice.
Yeah, because you know what? That's kind of what real life is. It's just a series of choices.
Yeah.
It's like you have the choice to believe one thing, and then you have then you have another choice to believe another. I think it makes sense with this core of this movie is that you have the will to think what you want to think. And that's what I like about this movie is that you can think a certain way, but you can also think another way.
It's all up to you.
Exactly. And that's something that the real world needs right now.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Tim, what's going on? Deshaun, what's up? We got Jack Slow. It's a lot of work, and you never look at life the same again. Any one of us could take the job, but who really wants the job? He's not. God is only God because he's willing to take the job. I never really bought into simulation theory because why would only one person be conscious? I mean,
not to think only one person's conscious versus just, like people waking up, but it's like, how would they wake up? Which makes you think, maybe I haven't woken up. But then how would you break out? Which is a scary thought, being trapped somewhere and you have no control over your real body.
Oh,
In a way,
it's
Matrix
terrifying.
The Matrix can be easily turned into a horror film, which I probably also really liked about it, is that it can fit any genre depending on how you twist the mood. I mean, like, there's one thing. All right, I'm just going to bring this up now because I love this game. If you ever want a Matrix-esque type game, but it's horror, The Evil Within. You're trapped in a simulation you don't even know about, only the person in charge is very evil.
Weird hearing you guys be Evil Dead. I'm not the biggest fan of horror games. Like, they're not my taste, but I will say I do like watching them.
Yeah.
The Evil Within is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's The Matrix and Nightmare on Elm Street mixed together.
And I do like me Nightmare on Elm Street, so I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Weird hearing you guys be philosophical instead of yelling at Jerry.
Well, Jerry's not here.
And plus, it's only 2 of us today, at least for right now. And we're just having a normal conversation, you know? Like, this is just more of a lax, like, talking about the Matrix. I mean, I'm having a fun time thus far.
Yes.
I hope everybody in chat's having a fun time thus far.
Yeah, you better be.
My thing is, if everyone's conscious and real, then the memories are real.
Yeah, yes. See, like, that's the question. It's like some people will say otherwise, you know? And that's the wonderful thing, is that none of you are wrong. It's just how you perceive it.
And I also like how in this film, like, when he comes out, he kind of wants to go back. Because
he doesn't like it. I don't either.
It's overwhelming, and it's a realistic response, because once you see everything that's really going on, you kind of want to go back
to what you're familiar with, something that made you happy. It's like, yeah, even if it's a mundane life, you know, it's still not this.
Oh, absolutely. I just thought that was a very thought-provoking, like, kind of in a way, Neo kind of embodies just the normal person, because
and I think that's what fits his mundane life. I think
exactly.
He's got a mundane. Everything about him is so normal, and I think it's supposed to be like the average person, so anyone can just fit into his shoes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's just the normal Joe Schmo who's being tossed into a situation that's like unfathomable.
Yeah.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
And also, I have to say, Lawrence Fishburne was amazing in this film, too.
He always is.
I mean...
He's a great actor.
He's a really good actor. I mean, he's I think just, again, the way he looks in this film, as Morpheus, he's perfect.
It's like he's like this weird, like, uncanny line of, should I trust him or not?
He is, but at the same time, he's so badass. Like, very soft-spoken, but you understand his character. He believes in this fuck, I forgot what his name was, but it was basically
Morpheus.
No,
is it Morpheus or Mobius? No, Morpheus.
It's Morpheus, but I think that Neo was basically, I guess, the reincarnation of somebody who...
Tom Anderson.
Yeah, he was basically the reincarnation of, well, I guess Neo, I guess. I'll just say that. And basically, he believes that Neo is the chosen one, essentially, and he's really the only key to basically stopping everything. And even when, like, Neo goes to the Oracle, and she's kind of like, he's going to believe it whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
Which, of course, it ends up being true. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out in 1999, just FYI. But I just love just the way this movie handles its situations. I will even say the character of Trinity as well. I thought she was a very good character too.
Oh yeah.
Even I do feel like, well, I guess she does kind of have her own development, but I feel like in a way her development's not as strong as the other two characters.
She's more of a side character. You know, like she's an important character, but she's not the main character. I think that's why she doesn't have as big as a role-changing thing.
But she is just as badass as all of them.
I mean, her opening scene where she takes down all those guys by herself, man, like... Awesome.
You can't get more badass than that.
Yeah.
Agent Smith, I thought he was a very intimidating. I wouldn't say he's like the greatest villain of all time. I'd say he's a good villain for this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's basically the guy who runs the simulation, essentially. I would like to think so.
Yeah.
Unless he's not. Well, I guess he's just like an agent that's basically he just wants to destroy people. He just wants to make sure no one is like getting out of the Matrix and not be a danger to anything. Essentially,
yeah.
But I thought the actor who played him, I think he was Hugo Weaving.
I believe so. Yeah, that sounds
Hugo
right.
Weaving was a great character too. I think he did a good job as an intimidating character. Cypher. I thought Cypher, again, I liked his character because once again, he kind of embodies like the other side where it's like he does not want to. He kind of regrets seeing what he sees, and because he put himself in that situation, he wants to go back.
Yeah.
And live a better life, which, again, anybody in that situation would want to do that because, again, when you see something that's real, you don't want to be put in that situation. You want to be somewhere you're not only comfortable with, but you have it's like a safety blanket, essentially. Like, you're not... You don't want to die, essentially, but because he's like, fuck, this kind of sucks. I want to go back to where life was somewhat good, and then he kind of dies at the end, which it's whatever. I mean, he was a good character in that sense, but he wasn't. But Tank was a good character. He was like the operator that was able to bring him into and out of the Matrix, which I thought that was really cool. The music in the sequence in certain scenes, I like that certain. A lot of the time, there's no music, but when they do add music, it fits.
Yeah.
And of course, the action scenes are iconic with the slow mo and like when the bullets pass, there's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, it looked super cool.
It looked cool. I do have a couple gripes with that, but I'll go into that when we get into that.
I mean, it's obviously dated, but it's still
it's not a major negative, but it's something that you kind of have to acknowledge.
You see it and you think Matrix. They made that iconic.
Yeah, they did. You know what was really cool? I like that they were. I know it's kind of lazy. I mean, but I like the way that they that Neo learns like kung fu by just like they have like the little tapes, I guess you could say, or like the little floppy disk you put it in, and they already know it. Like I thought that was really cool because it kind of makes sense because it's like it's like, well, would you rather a 15-minute like overly complicated thing that's gonna slow the movie down, or do we just have it not necessarily rushed, but it's kind of
speed it up a bit?
What parts are the trans allegory? Because I've heard there is one, but I haven't seen it.
I don't know if it was in the older films. It's probably in the newer one, I would assume, because this is way before their transitions.
Yeah, I think this probably because I didn't see it in this film.
Yeah, this is like way before their transition. Because I think they transitioned not even 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it was, it must be something deeper because I think on the surface, or at least what I seen, I did not. I personally didn't see it, so. I mean, I might be wrong. It might be in here. I don't know.
I've never heard it.
I just haven't seen it, so. What else did I like? I'm trying to, because the last action sequence between him and Smith, Neo and Smith, I thought that action sequence was really, really good. And and also when they visit the Oracle, I liked a lot of this movie. I really liked, and also the underground, like just seeing this, kind of what everything looks like out of the simulation. I thought it was very stylish. It looked great. And also the what was it? I think they're called what are they called? Machines? What are the machines called? Sentinels. They're called Sentinels. I mean, you would think that I would know that because Sentinels, but hey, they only showed up kind of a couple times. They didn't show up all the time, so it's like kind of have to make do with what you got. I mean, just from a visual standpoint, it looks great. I think everything looked great. So I mean, I think in general, I think I really went through everything. I liked some of the characters. I liked the story. I liked some of the action. I mean, it's what I thought it was. I thought for what I seen, it looked great. Now let's talk about our negatives if we have any. I'll let you start.
I definitely think some of the things are dated. Obviously, the stuff with the floppy disk or whatever, that was definitely going to go soon. I'm not saying it's a negative about the film, but it is a negative that was a bit unavoidable, especially when time goes by, unless they had another idea of doing it. But I mean, it's not really that big of a deal versus just kind of a thing to point out. I don't really have much negatives with this film. I wouldn't say it's like perfect. Some parts are really cheesy. The overusage of slow motion, nowadays is definitely seen as cheesy, but it was a way to show off all their effects back then, which for the most part have aged well. Other parts you can definitely tell is old CG, but I don't really have much negatives other than, things that are old, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just noticeable when you watch the film.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. A lot of the effects don't I wouldn't say it's dated to the point of it's completely dated. I would say some of it is dated. Like the hand-to-hand stuff, I think aged pretty well. The firefights, I mean, those fight scenes were okay. Like, I wouldn't say they were like terrific, but I will say they were revolutionary for the time. But even then, it's iconic the way they did it. So it's like that's not really a big issue. Some of the characters don't really have a lot of development. They're just kind of there and then they die. It's like, and it kind of sucks because there are some characters in here that kind of had potential to be good, but they either didn't have a lot of story, like characters like Dozer, like Mouse, Apoc, Switch, like all those characters don't really have a lot of development. So it's like when they die, you don't really feel impacted by it. It's kind of just like meh. And also, I felt like the whole twist of Trinity being in love with Neo, and I thought that I don't want to say it kind of came forced, but it kind of just felt out of nowhere. Like it was just like
yeah.
Like, gee,
okay, they could have had little things and glances as she glances at him or something throughout the film. Something to like at least hint at it.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't really have any real negatives. I mean, I thought in general, I thought it worked really well. Now, let's get into kind of, it's sort of like it's just overall like, just in terms of like the philosophy of the Matrix is that basically, I don't know if any of you guys heard about this philosopher, but his name was Descartes. And if you read his first meditation, which I have, and he basically he suggests that it's just like a reality that was created by machines, because that's what he feels like we kind of are, is that we're machines, and that the whole world is just a giant machine. Like, we all are here to kind of serve a purpose. And there's a lot, and that everything that we see and we hear and we taste, like, it's all an illusion by like this evil demon to like deceive us. Like the chair I'm sitting in right now could be fake. Like that could be a genuine illusion. Also, I think it's also the same thing as like Hillary Putnam, where it's like a brain in the vat, her brain in the vat scenario, which I haven't, which is basically the same thing. And also was an allegory of the cave with Plato, where it kind of, it relates to his like theory of forms, which I'm just reading this off, by the way. I'm not like, thank God for Wikipedia, right? I mean, if one of the people we, had on, you were supposed to come on here, I mean, I feel like he would give us some more insight on this. But actually, let me see here. Hold on a minute, guys. Anyway, the philosophy of it actually, because a lot of it was based off of a lot of, basically the Matrix was based off those philosophies and stuff. So it's like, I actually kind of like that. And also like kind of, and it also kind of talk about exploring a world through like synthetic means, and just, this is like, it kind of is like such of like, it's so strange, but yet it kind of makes sense. Like you have like this, like we're all living in this simulation, and like somewhere, we could be, in a pod or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that when we die, they feed us to babies. It's like, man, that's actually kind of weird and kind of scary,
Yeah, not fun to think about.
No, it's like sometimes, trust me, when I fall asleep at night, that's all I think about. My inevitable death, I'm going to be fed to babies. Because I don't know how that would even work. Well, I guess the movie kind of shows how it would work, but it's kind of scary that we're not born, but we're actually grown in like pods.
Yeah.
So in the so do people just not get pregnant in the simulation?
I don't know. I don't know if like the outside world was really explained as much versus just a simulation.
I mean, I kind of want to know that. So does that just mean like babies just appear and just like, oh shit, do children eat? Wait a minute. What if that some people are actually, they're adults, but some people are, but then they're babies though too. Oh my God.
It's a lot to think about.
Hold on a second. So, but how do they choose who's who? Like, when do the machines deem it necessary to bring in new life? But then how are cats and dogs created? How are birds, rhinos, bears? Like,
none of it's real.
None of it's real. That's all it comes down to. It's just not real. It's like, man, it kind of sucks when you think about it. It's like, when this world inevitably ends, that just means the simulation has just fell apart.
Yeah.
And that the sequel will come out. Hopefully the sequel will be better. Wait, that's all the simulation is. It's a video game. We're just video game characters.
Yeah.
Well, we're all NPCs. And all the famous people are like the main characters. No, that doesn't make any sense. I guess we're all main characters in a sense, because what if it's a multiplayer role-playing game?
True. There is no main character. You're the main character in your own story.
Exactly. And there's limited choices. And if you want more choices, you have to pay $15 for.
True.
Oh my god, we're gonna be run by EA soon.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We're literally just a fucking Telltale game. There's already a predetermined ending for us. It's just the way we get there. Huh. Man, that makes you really think, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we burn bridges with people, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Because we're all gonna die eventually. Now I just made myself sad. And then when we die, well, they'll give us a choice to replay. Huh. Damn, now I'm depressed. Fuck. Can't believe I did that. Religion. I guess we could get into like I guess we already talked about the philosophy and stuff. I mean, there's stuff with like religion and stuff and the mythology of it. Kind of like there's kind of allusions to a Christ himself with because with Neo's like virgin like birth, because he technically is not like he technically wasn't. Well, I guess in a way, it's like we don't really know if he has family or not, so he's kind of like there. But also, there's a lot of Christianity references, and it's also like there's just a lot of Christianity references in here.
Yeah, like Neo kind of being the chosen one, kind of like how, like Jesus. He's like the Jesus of the movie.
Exactly. It's like there's so much religious and like so much philosophical stuff. That's how I'm gonna say philosophical. There's so much philosophical stuff in here that it's so intriguing and interesting. And just like talk about like the dream world and like the real, it's like all that stuff is so good. And then let's see here. Is there anything else that I'm missing? I think I'm missing a lot. I mean, I think that's really about it, I think. I mean, like this movie is there's so much philosophy and so much stuff about it. Smith is the guy across the line who will fight for his just as hard as you will fight for yours. Smith is the echo of Neo. Seeing it before it came out uncompleted, all the sound effects, parts of the movie that were not completed, and the way they pulled that off was like magic. It forced you to see the echo. In the end, it's still a story or a way of thinking that's older than the books. Do you like that room behind your smile? Will you fight that hard without someone to do it for? A battery is something that keeps you going. If the AI is just a copy of itself, the idea of what changes you, what makes you you, would be hell of a battery. There it is again. Very, very interesting, man. Very interesting. Let's see here. I think I missed some of these comments. It's like, well, I look at it this way. Why do you wake up from the dream? Because you're not willing to let the dream be real. Well, sometimes I wish dreams were real.
Yeah.
God, there are days where I just... Yeah, I'm not even gonna bring that up. Let's see here. Did I miss anything? I think I missed some stuff. Jackson's like, I remember the day it came out. I was working in IT fixing computers. I was the youngest guy there. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, I guess we can give our final grades, I suppose. Do you want to give your final grade?
I would definitely give it a solid A and a 9 out of 10.
You know what? I'm going to also give it a solid A. I think this movie was pretty damn good. It's not a movie that I'm going to go back and rewatch over and over again, because there are still movies I'd rather watch, but this movie is pretty freaking good. I mean, if you haven't seen it, what the hell are you doing? Like,
yeah.
Seriously, what the fuck are you doing? No, I'm being serious. What in the absolute fuck are you doing? Get off your ass go purchase HBO Max or buy the DVD. No, write this down. I want someone to write this down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. I know you're not writing it down over there. I know you're outside the simulation. Write it down. Purchase the DVD. Purchase the DVD. Okay? There's an entire freaking DVD set where you can buy all the movies plus the Animatrix except for the new one. But purchase that box set and go watch The Matrix and then come back. Okay? And if you can't buy the DVD, then purchase HBO Max. Okay? You know, just don't you talk back to me. Excuse me. I'm telling you now. Okay? Watch The Matrix. Don't you Oh, you can't afford it? Well then you can always just do it. Well, I guess you could do it in a way that's not. I'm not even gonna say it on stream because I know that they're probably gonna. If I say it, they'll be like, "Huh, what the fuck are you doing?" Like, I'll be going to jail, man. So I'll just say, do it through the high seas. It's I mean, just do that, I guess. I mean, pretty cool stuff, just like Jack Saw, like, the problem is the more you're in the real world, the more it wants to eat you. What specifically in the world will eat me? Like, are we talking a tiger or are we talking a bear? Are we talking like a wild cat or like are we talking what kind of like thing will eat me? Is it anything will eat me? I think that's how it works, right? And we got a troll now. Okay, well, gee, thanks, troll, I guess. We always have these fucking trolls, It's like, it's always pissing me off. I mean, I apologize if it comes off as like we're really. It's because we kind of we kind of already talked about the movie. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think we talked about the machinations of the movie. We've talked about the philosophy, the machinations. I think that's what it's called, machinations. And you know what? I'm pretty I think we did a good job.
Yes.
For two, are we millennials or Gen Zers?
We're Gen Z.
Okay, so for Gen Zers, I think we're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think we told a pretty good, our own interpretation of the Matrix. I think we're very realistic, and we're not idiots.
I would like to think we're not.
Sometimes. Most of the time. A little bit of the time. I think we're very smart human beings.
Yes.
I think we've deemed the right to talk about the Matrix and have a competent conversation about it. It's some interesting stuff, I mean, I think we did a hell of a job. And I am very proud of the both of us.
Me too.
And I am proud of you guys in the chat. Except for those rare instances where I'm very disappointed. But other than that, you guys always, well, I mean, not all the time, but you guys in the chat are great. And I love each and every one of you. Now, don't take that too serious. Because let's be honest. We all know how this all ends up. With my channel being nuked off the face of the earth. Because of two other people that I have on my streams.
One that didn't even show for the movie he wanted to talk about. Unfortunate.
And then, it's like, then, well, I guess technically there'd be 3 other people because there is an unofficial 5th member who is in our Discord group chat.
Yes.
So you guys know who you guys probably don't know who you're talking about because it's been so long. But can't wait for next week where we're talking Spirited Away with the boys. It's like that'll probably get us that's definitely gonna get my channel erased from. I know I keep saying my channel's gonna keep getting erased, but it probably will. Because knowing them, my channel will be gone by the end of my channel will be gone. We all know this.
No.
Because if they had it their way, it'll just be gone, And, we had a poll up. 7 people voted on it. Thank you very much. 57% loved The Matrix. 14% hated it. 14% was meh. And 14% have not seen it.
Man.
Well, to those 14%, what the fuck you doing?
Oh, God.
Go fucking watch it. Okay? Do you want me to be... Listen. What the fuck?
I've never even heard people who have hated The Matrix. I've never heard that.
Exactly. But with that being said, I know we're kind of ending it a little short, but I feel like we kind of talked about everything. Very straightforward tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming to the chat. I want to thank Jack's Law, Penny, Deshaun, Tim for coming in. Appreciate you guys coming in. We'll let Angry CareBears tell everybody where they can find her at.
You can find me on my own channel of Angry CareBears or on Twitch, Angry CareBears 2 whenever I stream. You can find me on Austin's channel every Tuesdays and on the weekends, whether it's Sunday or Saturday night, with Austinator and friends talk pop culture on the Tuesdays and me and Austin reviewing movies on the weekends.
Actually, I'm going to change the date here so on Saturdays or Sundays, it's going to be alternating. So this week was Austinator, Anchor CareBears Talk Movies. Next week is going to be Austinator and Friends Talk Pop Culture, where we will be reviewing Spirited Away, and we'll also be talking about some other stuff as well. I am definitely doing others. I mean, I'm doing stuff. Just check me out and go check me out on other stuff such as, Real View 3000, weekly wrap up. They hang out on Wednesdays on Guy Scar's channel and late on Friday nights for the Late Night Snack Show, plus Galactic Chat and stuff on Enjoy's channel on Fridays. I'm basically everywhere. Come and check me out. And then you can just find me on you just find me on Twitter at the Austinator17. Sometimes I tweet, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Come check me out. Guys, thanks for coming in. We will see you in 2 weeks talking The Matrix Reloaded. But we will see you guys though next week. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Austinator signing out.
Bye.
Peace.